Hi there, and welcome to this video presentation, which will give you a great opportunity to explore and also to discover everything about the TaxShop franchise. I am your host, and on screen you'll see a nice write-up about me. In a nutshell, I've been a part of the TaxShop from the very beginning, all the way back to 2001 when our first TaxShop was started through to where it is today. And I can tell you that it's been an amazing journey, which I believe is still far from the end. I continue to serve as director of the company and currently form part of the strategic decision-making team at the TaxShop head office. But enough about me and a little more about us. We are the largest accounting and tax franchise in South Africa with 70 outlets operating in Southern Africa. Our focus is on establishing successful accounting and tax practices. We provide a unique franchising opportunity for bookkeepers, accountants, auditors, tax and related practitioners who want to start a new practice or who want to expand their existing practices. And those who join with us benefit from the best forward-thinking accounting franchise brand with access to professional support, proven practice models, cutting-edge software and apps, latest marketing strategies, and a vast network of accounting and tax professionals. If somebody asked me what the TaxShop was all about, I think this slide demonstrates it very nicely. But there is much more. Here there are two aspects I'd like you to consider. On the one hand, the opportunity has been created through our franchise for you to earn great income. But that's not where it ends. Our model has been designed to create a lifestyle business for franchise owners. You can see the beautiful picture of the fish escaping the corporate rat race and jumping to freedom. And that is what we desire for everyone who becomes a part of the TaxShop. And ultimately, it's why we believe we are in this business. So what we find is franchise owners enjoying a lot more free time, having far greater flexibility in their lives with their families than if they were simply working for an employer or practicing on their own. This brings us to our passion. And this has always been to help accountants live their dream. What is the dream? In the end, I believe most people want to be in charge of their own destiny and have the hope of running their own accounting practice. And here I'm not just talking about any old practice, but one which is rewarding, has great clients, where you can enjoy going to work every day and where you can build an asset of value for retirement. On the other side, our mission has always been to make our lives and the lives of our clients easier. This we achieve through the use of world-class technology, systems, the training we do, the communication, etc., etc. But that aspect of making lives easier is a big driver for us. It's something that's very much a part of our philosophy, and you'll see it as our slogan on our website. In terms of our history and our future, in 2001, we started our first TaxShop office. In 2007, we decided to franchise. Today, we have 70 outlets operating throughout Southern Africa. And over the next 3 years, we are projecting to open a further 30 odd outlets throughout Southern Africa. And also we are exploring international expansion. On that point, I just want to add that should we decide to move into the international arena, a move like that would only be of benefit to our local franchise owners. Right, so who qualifies for the franchise? These are bookkeepers, accountants, auditors, tax and related practitioners. People like this who have a strong financial and or commercial background and who want to start a new accounting practice or they want to expand their existing practices. So as you can see, it is for both. In other words, those who are starting out from scratch as well as those who have already been in practice and have an existing client base. TaxShop franchisees must have an accounting and tax qualification and preferably be a member of a recognized professional or controlling body. There are so many of these today. I've listed some of those at the bottom of the screen. The interesting thing here is that because of our association with many of those professional bodies, TaxShop franchise owners get discounted access to many of those organizations. Now, putting the franchise aside for just a moment, I'd like to look at the challenges which face any new owner of an accounting practice. We've identified many challenges, but the top 3 are listed here. That being technical support and training. In other words, finding answers to difficult questions, staying abreast of times, ahead of legislation, etc. Point 2, practice management, which deals with just the day-to-day running of your practice, including admin and things like this. And point 3, building a client base, which has got to do with marketing. And I'm pleased to tell you that we're able to help you in all of these areas. So that brings me to this big question as to why do we need to franchise? And this, by the way, is a common question that is put to us by accountants out there. Why not just practice on your own? And we would like to bring your attention to these 9 points that we've put together as to why there is value in franchising. Number 1, franchisees tap into a franchise model which has a proven track history. And by doing so, they're able to accelerate their growth. So I spoke to somebody quite recently, an accountant who's interested in joining the franchise. And he told me that it took him 10 years to build up his accounting practice to a level where he can now live comfortably. In our view, that is way too long, and what we're seeing in the TechShop Group is a far quicker turnaround time. In other words, an acceleration of growth happens a lot quicker. Linked to that is point 2. It's because of our advanced marketing. And franchisees obviously benefit from all our campaigns. We generate leads for franchisees from head office, and franchisees draw on the knowledge of successful campaigns within the group. Point 3, the aspect of intellectual property. You gain access to all our training and operating manuals, guides, our brand material, various documents, checklists, etc. And those things are difficult to get going when you're on your own. Point 4, which deals with backup and support, is probably one of the most attractive features of joining a franchise. And this goes far beyond just having technical support to queries and things like that. Because of our size, what we've seen is many franchise owners who operate as sole practitioners are able to find very large clients because they have the backing of the group. We've got clients in our group that are listed on the JSE. We have international clients as well. And in practice, you would find it very difficult to support such clients if you were just practicing on your own. So this gives you far greater opportunity to build up a great client base. Concerning communications and training, point 5, we make sure that all franchisees remain at the cutting edge of everything that's happening in our profession and legislation. So when there's big or major changes, those are announced to franchisees through notifications, and then we will do further training as necessary to bring them up to speed. I'm not just saying this because we do this, but we genuinely employ the best software systems in the world. And this is our job at head office, is to understand the market, understand what are the best systems, and then to negotiate excellent pricing for our franchisees, and not just that, but also to negotiate priority support for them. Franchisees get to enjoy increased services. The average accountant or bookkeeper out there probably focuses on bookkeeping or accounting work and tax services, maybe payroll as well. In our group, we can see that franchisees enjoy a whole lot of other services. And this is because of our network of trusted business partners. It can be legal services, trusts, wills, assurance services, consulting, and so forth. So this again gives you the opportunity to increase your revenue within your practice. As you can imagine, because of our size, our buying power is quite strong. So we are able to muscle our way into obtaining significant discounts for franchisees in many areas, whether it has to do with software, the joining of organizations, professional bodies, etc., insurance, marketing costs, etc., etc. And finally, the aspect of brand value is very important. And this is important because it deals with the aspect of the value of your practice when it comes to retirement or when it comes to a time that you plan to sell your practice. So the market has changed substantially over the last 20 to 30 years. And what we're finding today is that when Mr. Joe Bloggs, for argument's sake, sells his practice, at retirement age, he's not receiving full value for that practice. And one of the reasons for this is that the market is saying, hang on a little bit, Mr. Joe Bloggs, you are the value of the practice. So when you step down, the value goes with the business. And one way to overcome this is to franchise. We've seen this trend developing in the States since the early 2000s in the accounting profession, and we are now seeing it taking place in the engineering profession and in the legal profession as well. So what we're seeing here is that franchise owners, when it comes to selling their franchise licenses at a later stage, are receiving a premium on their business. Why? Because the market recognizes that there's a value in the brand, and they're not just losing that value when the owner steps down. So getting down to the nitty-gritty, these are our costs and rewards currently. In terms of the costs, there are two elements: a once-off license fee of 250,000 Rand, and I'm going to talk about that a little more in a moment. And then there's also an ongoing royalty fee of 10% of turnover. Now that ongoing royalty is very standard in the franchising industry. 10% is a good percentage that most franchisors charge. We split that generally on a 70-30 basis in our group. 7% of the 10% goes toward management. In other words, training, having a support center, dealing with queries, mentoring of franchisees, etc., the admin and so forth, while the other 3% we allocate toward our national marketing budget. Now, in terms of the rewards, it's a very difficult aspect. It's another common question that prospective franchise owners ask us is what can they earn out of a franchise? And to be honest, we receive varying results within the franchise group. Results are ultimately dependent on each franchise owner, how aggressively they market, their temperament, etc., etc. But our model works as follows. And this applies to all new franchise owners starting from scratch. In other words, they don't have any clients. In year one, we aim to achieve a turnover of 25,000 per month. By year two, we increase that to 50,000. And by year three, we get our franchisees onto a turnover of 100,000 or more per month. Now, those levels, I can tell you, have been achieved by most in our group and superseded in many, many cases. We've done a lot of research into the accounting industry in South Africa. And I can tell you, and you're welcome to research this yourself, accounting practices on average take 5 years to break even. As I mentioned a little earlier, I was speaking to somebody recently who started his business 10 years ago, and it's taken him 10 years to get to where he wants to be. We're experiencing this sort of break-even time frame within 12 to 24 months within the TechShop Group. Now, just a little bit more about that upfront license fee of 250,000 Rand. Two things I want to say here. One, price is reduced for practitioners who have an existing client base. So if you're currently in practice, we obviously need to recognize the fact that you've done a lot of work in building up your clients, and we want to reward you for that. So it may be a reduction of that upfront license fee. We may even negotiate on the royalties as well. But the best way to deal with that is to contact us. And the second thing I can mention here is that funding options are available around that franchise license fee of 250,000 Rand for it to be repaid over time. So if you're interested in either of those scenarios, the best thing is to email us to find out how the above could apply to you. Now, in terms of what you get for your franchise license, there's a whole lot more, but I've tried to list a few things here, and I'm just going to run through them very briefly. The first thing is you get the right to trade in a zone agreed upon with you. So this is put down in our franchise agreement. For example, you might buy the franchise license for Sandton. Now, we currently have a franchise operating in Sandton, but I'm just giving you that as an example. You then come to our head office for training. This takes place over 4 days. We pay for all your costs to stay with us and your meals and so forth. We then put you onto a specialized marketing course. Now, we do a lot of marketing and we do a lot of education amongst our franchisees around marketing, but we really felt it necessary to source a dedicated course that has specifically been designed for accountants. And we have found a course, it's an international course, it runs over 12 months. We valued that at 75,000 Rand, that course, and that is included in your upfront fee. Why have we done this? Because we believe that we want all our franchisees to be at a level above all the competition out there. In other words, you need to know how to market your practice better than all other accountants in South Africa. We also include an initial marketing launch in your area, valued at 50,000 Rand. So this might be a golf day, or a drinks evening or some other type of event whereby we come down from head office, we get you to invite people in your local area, we'll have a function and we will introduce you to your local community. We get the press in and we get some marketing mileage out of the whole event, and we find that it helps to get franchises running a lot quicker. So just to bear in mind on points 3 and 4, those two items that are included in the franchise license fee are valued at 125,000 Rand. So as you can see, the overall fee of 250 is not too heavy actually. Now, furthermore, we will give you all the advanced marketing strategies that you need, and we also will generate leads for you from head office. We provide you with all the banners, flyers, marketing material, corporate folders, brochures, all those sorts of things when you start up with us. We mentor you, and that includes the input on marketing strategies and also the fundamentals of practice management. We provide all startup material in the form of guides, handbooks, letterheads, checklists, all those sorts of documents. You obviously receive ongoing technical support, training, backup and expertise from all our top professionals, not only at head office but also within our group. So we have many specialists within the TechShop group, and I wish to say here that there's never a question that we are unable to answer. We will always be able to find an answer on something. We provide you with admission to world-class software. As I've mentioned, we arrange substantial discounts for you in various areas. So I think, for example, the Institute of Tax Professionals with SITE, we have a 25% discount for TechShop members. And there's other areas as well. I've used the example here of professional indemnity insurance. PI insurance, if you know anything about PI insurance, the one thing you'll know is that it's very expensive in practice. For individual practitioners to obtain decent cover, their PI premiums would be thousands or well, definitely thousands per month and possibly tens of thousands annually. Now, within our group, for example, we've arranged fantastic cover for all our franchise owners, and it costs 110 Rand a month. So I'm just mentioning it because there are definitely cash benefits to being part of the franchise as well. Then there's increased business opportunities through our business partners. So we have relationships with many business partners. I've used Medicoop here as an example. Medicoop recently launched in South Africa. It's a cooperative bank focusing on the medical industry. So its members consist of doctors, dentists, chiropractors, physios, etc. And they do a lot of things for their members, but one of the things they do is to provide finance to them at excellent rates, far better than the regular banks out there. So we've recently signed a collaboration agreement with Medicoop, and the undertaking there is that whenever a member of Medicoop requires funding for their practice, maybe they need to buy x-ray machines or do whatever they need to do, then Medicoop will refer them to a TechShop franchisee. The reason being because Medicoop wants to make sure that their members can repay their loans. So they want to make sure that there's control over cash flow management, profitability of the practice, controls are put in place in the practice, etc., etc. So that's great work that opens up for TechShop franchise owners. And on the flip side, we are able to add value to our clients in the TechShop group, in other words, our existing clients who may be in the medical profession, by referring them to Medicoop. So if your client, for example, is a doctor and they're wanting to expand, you can speak to them about this and actually refer them to Medicoop and give them access to finance, which will be a lot better than the regular banks out there. And believe me, your client will love you for it. So this is the type of thing I'm talking about when I say that there are increased business opportunities through our business partners. We offer automated services for your clients. Things included here are, for example, monthly newsletter. If you had to prepare a newsletter each month for your clients, it's a major task. So we do this automatically for you, and this goes out to all TechShop clients. And then there's a lot of other things here like unlimited email addresses, fax to email numbers, ongoing software support and so forth, and that's necessary to make sure that your practice is running smoothly. So on our website, we have a whole lot of testimonials from franchisees or franchise owners. I have not listed all of them. I've just given a few here, a handful. In other words, just so that you're able to see the cross-section of franchise owners within the TechShop group, and also to see what they say about the franchise. So having a look at Ilse, for example, she's a chartered accountant who has the license for Roodepoort West. She says we recently started our TechShop. We're pleased to say the franchisor is honest, open and ethical. They give excellent support and advice and do not think they are untouchable like other franchisors out there. And I'm always amazed when I hear how untouchable many franchisors are out there. You know, when franchisees buy into those franchises, they just never get to hear from head office anymore. And this is very much not the way we work, because we believe in relationship with all our franchise owners. Maxwell, who's from Bloemfontein East, is an ACCA member. He says he's glad to have become part of the TechShop team. He points out support, motivation, and networking as important aspects. I've highlighted the word networking there because that is important in the growth of your business. Joan Kane, who's from False Bay South, is an ICB member, loves running her own practice, having the support of a franchisor, makes the task so much easier. And again, yeah, she's sort of taken the word support out, but I think that is something that would apply to almost all our franchisees. Kimberly Carle, who's the franchise owner in Leidenburg, is a technical financial accountant, has been with us for over 9 years. She says, we've always shown efficiency, professionalism, and an interest in helping franchisees to prosper. And I like that word that she's used, an interest, because it reflects our viewpoint as well from a head office perspective. In other words, we do take an interest in all our franchises, and it's all about our relationship with our franchise owners. Tom Lowe from Polokwane East is a higher diploma in accounting. He's been with us since 2008 and greatly appreciates the efforts that we put in to expand his business. So, you know, that's an important point, because we are always looking at ideas and new ideas to grow franchises. And I think that's something that he appreciates, and many franchise owners do. And then lastly, I'm going to have a look at Liz, who's from Durban North. She's a general accountant, also been with us for a while. And she highlights the aspect of growth that has taken place and been very rewarding in her franchise. And again, I believe that is something that most franchisees would comment on positively, is the growth within their franchise. So just briefly, some common questions. You'll find a whole lot of frequently asked questions on our website, but I'm just going to list some of the more common questions here quickly, so that we can deal with those. So, can a franchise operate from home? And the answer to that is yes. Many franchisees do start from home, and they often move to an office later. We've even had cases of franchise owners who've started in an office and then moved back to home later, not because they've got smaller or they've decreased or anything, but they just didn't want to grow anymore and they wanted to save rent. So I think in our view at head office, it is our view that an office, of course, would be a lot better because it is more professional. And in the long run, if you plan on taking on staff and growing your practice, it makes more sense to have an office. You know, if you've got 5 or 6 people or 10 people working for you, this becomes very difficult from home. But certainly no problem to start out operating from home. So can a franchise operate part-time? And the answer to that is no, because this is a full-time business. If it's a problem for you, you have a corporate job, whatever the case might be, you may need to think about, or we would advise you to think about, a partnership with somebody, with another accountant, and let them start running with the practice till it's large enough to absorb you full time. What if you have clients already? So I've spoken of this, but that's not a problem for us. If you are an existing practitioner with an existing client base, we need to look at how we can adjust our license fee to acknowledge that fact, and that we will gladly do for you. Can a franchise operate in another zone? And we've got rules in the tax shop as to how this works, but basically the rules are as follows. A franchise may accept clients from any other zone. So clients may contact you, you know, if you've got, for argument's sake, the license in Sandton, and a guy or a girl phones you from Cape Town, you can certainly take that person as your client. You don't need to refer them back to a franchise in the area. And they might contact you for various reasons. It might be an associate, an ex-colleague, a friend of a family member, whatever the case might be, a referral of some sorts, and you can gladly take those clients as clients. What franchise owners may not do is go into another zone physically to market themselves. So using those two examples again, the franchise owner in Sandton cannot go down to Cape Town and in the CBD put up put up a billboard or put up a banner and hand out business cards and so forth. That would then be infringing on the rights of the owner of the Cape Town CBD license. But certainly no problem to take on clients from other areas. Can you contact existing franchise owners? I would certainly advise you to do so. If you're going to make a decision about the tax shop, go to our website. You'll be able to contact any of our franchise owners there, and reach out to them, and they'll tell you what their view is of us as the franchisor and also as of the franchise group. And finally, do we provide funding? Yes, you would need to email us on that, just so that we can look at how to structure something suitable for you, but certainly something we can look at. And this is obviously concerning that upfront license fee. So we come to the end of our presentation. I'd like to leave you with this. This is a meme that we really like. These were the words spoken by Arthur Ashe. Success is a journey, it's not a destination. And Arthur Ashe, of course, was the famous tennis player from the 60s and 70s. So we certainly can't take credit for those words, but I can encourage you to know that you can achieve great success if you're prepared to follow the right principles. And we are absolutely here to help you every step of the way on that journey. If there is anything standing in your way, finances, perhaps, fears about leaving the corporate world, or anything else that's blocking you from taking the next steps, I invite you to contact us. Our details are there. You can email us at inquiries@techshop.co.za. You're welcome to phone us on 0861 370 220, and we will see what we can do to help you overcome those obstacles. So thank you very much for watching.